There are many reasons why people move out of the cities they're living in, and sometimes the reasons will surprise you. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the top 5 reasons why I left Brampton, and we're going to get into that right now. So let's get started. What's up, everyone? My name is Nasira Jamal, and I'm part of Team Jamal right here in the Greater Toronto area. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living, working, playing, eating, sleeping in the Greater Toronto area, and in this video, actually, we're going to talk about why you may want to not be in a certain city, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn your notification on so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Honestly, I get calls all the time from people that are moving or relocating to the area, and I absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving, relocating, or just even coming to stay in the Greater Toronto area, then make sure you give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email. However you want to get a hold of me, I've got your back when you're moving into the Greater Toronto area. So let's get started. And I really wanted to share with you my own experience of why I left Brampton. You see, I've lived in Brampton for almost 20 years and raised my son there. He did all of his schooling up to high school. But there are 5 main reasons why I actually decided that Brampton was no longer for me. And in this video, I'm going to go over all of them. Make sure you stick around to the end because the last reason will actually surprise you. So let's get started. Number 1, the first reason that I moved out of Brampton is because it got too hectic. There was just too many people, too many cars, too many houses. It grew exponentially since I've been there. 20 years ago, there was a lot of farmlands. There was actually spaces between houses. It felt like things were in different neighborhoods. They were still spread apart. Now, because most of the farmlands are gone, they have built really lots of houses, lots of row houses, just because of the demand. And I really just found it to be too hectic for my son. As you know, if you've been watching my videos, I am raising a child with special needs, and it just became too hectic. There was too much going on. There was too much noise. And I really felt like this was one of the main reasons that I really needed to find a place where things were going to be a little bit calmer and a little bit more slower paced, because we needed to just readjust our lifestyle. And that was something that was really important to me. As much as I love Brampton for all of the amenities and the stores, the restaurants, the parks, I loved the fact that I was really used to the area. I knew where things were. I knew exactly where to find certain things. But I knew that something had to give as I realized that, there was just too much going on. And the hectic lifestyle is what really drove me away. So the second reason that I really got out of Brampton or made the decision to leave Brampton was I noticed that it was actually becoming a little bit more antisocial. I was noticing that, people were not as friendly as when I first got here 20 years ago. It seemed like, and I don't mean that they were, they're being rude intentionally or not being considerate. I just think that because of the busyness of the area and people always rushing around, everybody's trying to get somewhere. There's always sort of that rush to be wherever, whether it's work or shopping. I found that type of anti-socialism just wasn't fitting in with my lifestyle in raising, again, a child that needed more of a social outlet and a little bit more of a slower paced life. I felt that Brampton was not suitable for him anymore. And also for myself, I really found that my stress level was getting higher. I was always in a rush, it seemed. I was always fighting traffic. I was always trying to buy time. Picking him up, dropping him off, showing clients, and it was just becoming really, really busy. So this was number 2, that I just felt not comfortable anymore in an area where initially when I moved here, there was less people. There was more of a community feel. I felt like people, really even neighbors, would ask if you're okay, or, you'd come outside and people would talk to you. I just feel that that's something that got lost in Brampton because of its exponential growth. So the third reason, and this is a big one, why I moved out of Brampton is because of the property taxes. My goodness gracious. they're enormous. So if you're comparing, and I was doing a lot of research, for my clients who are looking at outlying areas, and I began to compare property taxes for them, and I realized that, my gosh, I was paying a lot in property tax and not really, getting a lot in terms of land, right? So I lived in a subdivision in Brampton at Chinguacousy and Steeles, had a detached home, double car garage. I was paying $7,800 per year. And what I found is the home that I did end up buying was on an acre, and I was paying $8,000. So just for me, looking at that, I was getting more for my money, and I was actually in a place where I was getting more space, which is why initially, I was looking at moving out of Brampton anyways, is because I felt Brampton was a little over congested for me. So this was great. It was easier on the pocketbook, and also it felt lighter on the heart as I lived in an area where I felt there was more space around me. And it really helped me live the lifestyle that I really wanted to. Now, going on with cost, I want to really talk here about car insurance. This is one of the areas that you will find you will pay the highest in car insurance. And of course, they have a system as to, depending on the number of cars, number of accidents, theft, and all of these things, of how they come up with your tax amount or your insurance amount. But Brampton is one of the highest in car insurance, what you're going to pay. So if you are looking around the different areas in the GTA, you definitely want to compare car insurance costs, because this is going to really surprise you. I actually was able to almost cut my car insurance in half, moving out of the Brampton area. And overall, of course, all of these costs combined made it that it was the right decision for me. But you want to look at everything in terms of what your lifestyle is, where you're working, and what it is that you need in the city that you're living in as you make the decision of what's most important to you and your family. So the fourth reason is still going to continue with cost. I really was looking at cost of utilities and noticed that, it had gone up exponentially from 20 years. Now, of course, everything has gone up, so that's no surprise. But comparing it to other outlying areas, I noticed that it was still more expensive to live in Brampton with utility costs. And the area that I decided to move in, actually, I don't even pay for water. So that's another savings. So this is, of course, a combination. All of the costs combined, I did make the decision that moving out of Brampton was the right one for me and my family. And that is, again, something that you would look at when you're deciding where you want to live. What is that cost of living? And what really is that lifestyle that you can create for your family, but still be accessible to everything? Because, of course, you could be working in an area that you need access to, highways, parks, leisure, sports, restaurants. So all of these things will help you make that decision. But for me, what I realized moving out of Brampton is that I was still able to get all of that, serve my clients, be able to have access to highways so that I can show clients, because I am all over the place in terms of Vaughan, Mississauga, Brampton, Toronto. It still gave me access, but when I came home, I was really in my own little piece of paradise. And the fifth reason, probably the most important of all, is that we found our dream home. You see, we weren't really looking, as I was showing homes to my clients, and I'm around a lot in terms of looking at beautiful properties all over the GTA. We happened upon this house that really was something that was picked out of our dreams, it seemed. And my husband and I decided that, it was listed and that we were at the right place at the right time. We made an offer, which got accepted, and it really accelerated our move. So our initial plan was not to move out of Brampton for, at that time, about 3 to 5 years, but we just pushed up our plan just so that we could get this home and really start living that life instead of waiting for it. And in another video, I will share, my dream home with you guys. I'd love to do that. But it was the right decision because this was something that fit the family's needs. And I'm absolutely thrilled that I made that decision. And so if you are thinking that you're either relocating or moving into the Greater Toronto Area and you want to start looking at some of the neighborhoods, some of the outlying areas, maybe you want to start looking at houses, then you got to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Heck, you can even send a pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of me, I've got your back when you're moving into the Greater Toronto Area. Until the next video, I'll catch you later.